Welcome, Terry Strine, one of the three founders of Leadership Delaware. And you have a pretty important event coming up in December. But before we get there, let's start by having you talk to our viewers about what the founding ideas were behind Leadership Delaware.
Good place to begin. Well, I'd had an interesting series of careers ranging from college, military, IBM, which was a phenomenal proving ground, security sales, real estate marketing, syndication, political leadership, during which I got to know Governor Pete DuPont very, very well. There was one constant theme in all this. The number of leaders, true leaders, not managers, but leaders of integrity, of vision, of really committed to making a change for the good, putting the organization, the mission, the cause first, were all too few. So we really created Leadership Delaware out of whole cloth. We knew that Delaware was special. Leaders of all walks of life do relate generally well. The Delaware way, which is now becoming, in my mind, the Leadership Delaware way, which is really much more powerful, forgive me for saying so, than the Delaware way.
Well, some might contest that, but no matter.
Not those who know Leadership Delaware. So we formed Leadership Delaware as a 501c3 in October of 2008. We began recruiting, or let's say identifying and inviting young leaders to join the program. The tuition that year was zero, free. We invited 17 to join the program. 16 said yes. They were typically between 30 and 34. That still is the average age today. The average age of this year's class is 34.
Okay, so again, I'm going to dive in here. So we're not recruiting people right out of college. You waited till they got a start on their careers, got their feet wet a little bit, and then we're looking for young men and women in their 30s who needed kind of a professional training that had leadership potential.
Well, they wouldn't have said they needed professional training, although that obviously was largely true. They've been out of school 10 or 12 years, had a couple of jobs, had some bosses. One was a great boss, one not so good. They knew that what they were doing now was not their ultimate calling in life. They decided they were really ready to take the next step. They come to us in an application interview process. At this point, it's very, very competitive. We typically have 4 begin in the candidate recruitment, where they come, meet, talk, experience LDI, Leadership Delaware. Then half of them apply. We go through a very rigorous interview process, and about half of those are offered a slot. So basically, it's a 1 in 4 experience ratio who are offered a position in the class.
Okay, because this is a sort of a brief interview segment, talk about the candidates that you have served and what maybe they've gone on to do, what impact the program had on their careers. And
people come to us, again, average age 32 or 33. They are accomplished young leaders. That's not true. They're accomplished young managers who have the capacity to become significant leaders. Our program's a bit different from those around the country. We do not say this is how you lead. We say these are leaders. We don't say if they're good leaders or indifferent leaders, they are leaders. They're leaders from all walks of life: military, police, education, healthcare, law, technology, all walks of life. Because we find that in today's world, certainly among the age bracket we're looking for, people live in silos. It's military and military, education and education, law and law. It's only normal, but you don't really become a great leader by knowing only people in your field. So our field, we want great diversity, not simply racially or ethnically or geographically. We want diversity in every sense of the word. So in our class, we might have a doctor or two, an attorney, an IT technician, an educator, military leader, a cop, very nonprofit leaders, of course, very, very diverse. They come in knowing only people, or primarily people in their world. But when it's finished, they know people intimately, wonderfully well in all walks of life. So the person who now is a good friend, they wouldn't have even known each other before, let alone been friends.
And
So
Terry, excuse me, how many people have come through the program in the 12 years you've operated?
we just counted it up yesterday, 276.
Wow. And that could really have an impact on a state like Delaware. Have they all stayed around in state?
You would be amazed at the 276 at this age where there's a lot of moving around typically. We've had a total of 11 people who've left the state.
Wow.
11, which is not very many, obviously. Many come thinking, gee, I'm going to leave in 2 or 3 or 4 years. And they find that the roots they put down through Leadership Delaware and through their peers in the program are so deep and so energized that they say, wow, this is a place I can grow. I can make a change. I can have impact. And they do. We tell them again and again, we are looking for from you 3 things as you graduate and go on to make a difference. One is we want you to grow significantly in the leadership of your organization, your nonprofit, in your career path. Grow significantly. Secondly, be involved politically or governmentally. You needn't run for office. If you want to, that's great. But be involved. Leaders need input from people like you, your observations, your perspective. Be involved, be a player. As we tell them again, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Get involved, be aware, be a source of information for elected officials and key government officials. Thirdly, be involved in nonprofits. There's a great need for people of your ability, of your talent, of your vision. Be involved, be active, not just a name on a board, be engaged. So all 3, your career, government and politics, nonprofits. We expect of them, we urge them, and more importantly, their peers tell them, come on guys, let's go, let's make a difference.
So if someone sees this who's interested in applying for the program, I mean, you made it clear it's a pretty rigorous acceptance policy, and there is a pretty stiff tuition involved. Is that correct? And no scholarships.
Tuition is $57.75 a year. That covers, by the way, and I've worked free for 12 years, 0 income. And with no salary to me whatsoever, the tuition covers about 49% of actual costs with me free. So it's not exactly a gouge. It barely, well, we raise the rest from board members, from foundations, nonprofits, significant organizations to cover costs. We do cover costs, but only through the generosity of so many people, including our board members. So yes, there is a tuition. It is about 1/4 the cost of a graduate level program at UD, which, and by the way, we have fellows all the time with PhDs, MBAs, attorneys, et cetera. They say it's the most rigorous academic year of their lives.
Wow.
Amazing.
But what do you do? Because I know I have talked to people who have been in the program, and you do help people who may not have the means to do that, but who are deserving and bright and interested. You help them manage to get into the program.
We sure do. We do not do scholarships, but we help them greatly. If people, we say, if your company will not support you, and by the way, of this current class, all but 3 of 29 had their organizations pay tuition. Some years it's maybe 4 or 5, but it's never more than that. At least it's not been. I say, listen, come to our house. We will practice. You're asking for funding. You're asking for help.
Oh, that's hard.
We practice, and it helps. We then give them names of those who love the program, who believe in Delaware, believe in Delaware's need for leadership.
Yeah.
They go to these folks, they make their presentation, typically in person. This year it's now via Zoom, although it's now converting to be in person. And they say, will you help me? I am the future. You are supportive of the future. Help me. This year, of the 3 people who needed to raise money, all 3 raised. One did it with one visit, bang. One took maybe 5 visits with 3 or 4 people to cover the cost. The other one was 2 people supported them, and they all got the tuition paid for by others. That is much better than a scholarship. Well, we don't want to say, how do you live? Where do you live? What about your car loan? We don't want to get involved in that, but we guide them to raising the money effectively, and they love it. They say,
Terry,
wow.
That in itself is a skill that's applicable in the business world, learning how to do the ask. Look, we're fast approaching our time limit here. You are stepping down. Now, let me see. You're having your graduation Thursday, December 3rd. It'll be virtual. And
Correct.
you and Sandy, your wife, who's one of the three founders with Pete
Yeah.
DuPont, you're stepping down. What are you going to do? What, why, and how will it go on?
So we will be doing alumni things. It could be a breakfast, it could be a lunch, it could be a seminar with 8 people. It could be whatever. The key is we'll be doing a lot of things with alumni.
Think about the legacy, though. I mean, in a state like Delaware, the impact that 250 people that mostly stay in the state can have is substantial. And let us hope they are going forth to do good and selfless works as well, because we are in an era where we surely need that.
Well, we sure do. Our role is none less than to transform Delaware. Not me, the fellows. They will, I guarantee, what their names are not known to you very well today. Their actions are and will be even more so.
Good.
They are phenomenal young leaders. I love them. We're so proud of them. And they are here to make a difference. They will and are transforming our first state of Delaware.
Well, Terry, congratulations to you and Sandy and Pete and the program. And we will look forward to great things from your graduates at Leadership Delaware. Thank you so much.
Sharon, thank you so much. You've been fantastic. Take care.